All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here at the National Work Zone Awareness week-long event. And today we'd like to just bring emphasis to the work zones here in Georgia while we celebrate and also mourn the situation that faces us all in construction work zones and incident work zones every day. It's our annual day of recognition, again, to give credit to some of the most courageous people you'll ever meet, the men and women that are committed to improving our lives as Georgians and across this nation, in our construction projects, our maintenance projects, and especially our heroes that are with us today, and here we are at the Hero headquarters today, that work along the Georgia roadways to keep us all safe and trying to keep us moving across Georgia roadways. Today we're very pleased to have very special partners with us today. We have representatives from the Federal Highway Administration, the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, and Georgia's own gridlock guy, Mark Aram from WSB, for taking time to participate with us, as well as our heroes as well. I'd like for everybody just to think about this for the moment. Today is Tuesday, just an ordinary Tuesday, just like all Tuesdays. Nothing very special about Tuesday at all. People come and go to work every day on Tuesdays, and when they get to work, they're really not thinking about their security and safety too often much. A lot of the businesses now have their own security guards, and office towers have security. People get to their desk and sit down and do their jobs, and they don't have to worry about their personal safety. And while most of them do that, they're either in an office cube or an office with four walls around them, and they're really out of harm's way. But for the men and women in GDOT that work in construction and maintenance and our heroes, that's not the case. Their office is out on the roadways, working within feet or inches with moving traffic. In fact, a hero's office may be the cab of his truck, but most of the time is out changing a tire, rendering aid to a broken down vehicle, and often sandwiched in between moving traffic and a vehicle. And so they don't enjoy that normal safety and security that we that work in office settings enjoy on a daily basis. And it does become a focus of their daily work each and every day to remain safe in all that they do. You know, no matter where an office is located, office safety is always important to employees, and they should feel safe. And for us at GDOT, we want our employees to feel the same way, that they're safe in their work that they do to try to make Georgia better for our citizens that travel in and through the state. But we need the public's help. And this is how you help. It's very simple. Obey the rules. And there's 3 easy rules. One is just pay attention. That's why we put those big orange signs up. We ask everybody to put their phones down and avoid distractions at all times, and especially in work zones. As a reminder, there is a no texting and driving law in Georgia. Secondly, we just ask people to slow down. That is very hard to do. Slow down and you get there faster. I believe we know a famous man that sang that praise often. Slow down to get there faster. That's why the speed limits are slowed down in work zones, because things have changed. The conditions are no longer the normal that you can drive through a work zone safely. There is something that's been changed, and that's why the speed limit's reduced. That is not just because we feel like we should reduce the speed limit. The shoulders have been reduced. The pavement may be uneven. There may be other instances of why you need to slow down. That's why we post for lower speed limit. Thirdly, watch out. We ask people when they enter a work zone to watch out. Watch out for the workers, the men and women out there that literally are putting their lives on the line. As I call it, they put their lives on the lane lines. They're right there on the edge of the pavement trying to get a job done, do their job, and then go home safely every night. And again, in Georgia, we have the move over law. When you see those amber lights or blue lights or rescue lights, move over a lane if it's safe to do so, but if not, please slow down. and give some room for those people that are on the side of the road. In front of us today are 58 cones. And these 58 cones are a representation of the 58 GDOT employees that have lost their lives in a work zone since 1973. The two cones in the middle, veiled in black, represent our tragic loss of our two heroes, Spencer Pass and Moses King. And as these cones represent those lives, it would literally take a building full, maybe a football field full of orange cones to represent the lives that all of these cones have impacted. We show them as cones, and that's not really much of a respectful way to represent somebody's life, who again was a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent. So as we reflect on these cones, let us just always be aware of the conditions out on the roadways and why we as drivers and we as public must be safe through work zones. Just an example, this year we have dashboard video from our assistant area engineer on I-75 down in South Georgia, who was there rendering aid to set up traffic control when a semi lost control and almost ran him over. It's a very sombering video when you see this gentleman, Roger Minshew, running for his life, and thank heavens he was safe when a tractor trailer tried to avoid the backup and just ran right through where the police and he were working. As I mentioned before, this year has been extremely tough because of the one cone in front of me with Moses King, our hero operator that passed away last month, who suffered from a fatal injury that he received in August while he was trying to protect a crash that already happened and was struck by a drunk driver on the downtown connector. I can tell you, it was one of the worst, and it's not one of the worst, it was the worst day in my role as commissioner for the Georgia Department of Transportation to go to his funeral. But that fails in comparison to the bad days and the days ahead for his wife and his two young sons and his entire family, who will never have Moses King back. Folks, that could have been avoided. There's no reason for him to have been fatally injured that night in August. And let's not forget the other black cone here for Spencer Pass, our hero that was killed back in 2011 while he was helping somebody, stopped to help somebody, and lost his life to provide service. In fact, in 2015, last year, we had 3 employees and 2 heroes injured in the line of duty in work zones. Thank heavens they ultimately went home and are recovering, but their lives have changed forever as well, but at least they still have their life. In fact, in Georgia last year, 27 work zone fatalities in 2015. That's 27 too many. And nationally, we're seeing the same kind of trend that's disturbing. Over 30,000 work zone injuries back in 2014, a 9% increase over the prior year. And the amazing thing, while we're here today to focus on the men and women that work in and along the roadways, what the national trend shows you is that 82% of the fatalities in work zones are the drivers and not the workers. And so again, we have a bigger message, not only to celebrate the men and women that work in the work zones, but to ensure that all that pass through work zones are safe. That is our charge, and that's what we're here to talk about. And that's why this day and this week is so important. As you know, spring has sprung, and that means the construction season is ready to go wide open. And we're very proud to make the investments and the infrastructure improvements across Georgia. However, that means work zone after work zone after work zone. That will keep many traffic reporter busy, updating you on the traffic that's going, and our TMC busy receiving calls and providing 511 information to travelers, but it means work zones. And so as we start this spring construction season that will go through the fall, we're asking everybody again to be dedicated and vigilant and being alert going through work zones. Again, we're just asking people to obey the rules. Pay attention, slow down, and watch out. because you don't want to be that driver. Do not be that driver, because a second of not paying attention could change your life and someone else's life forever.